Hey, everybody. I've got Pat Saavedra. He's the CEO and founder of a company called RabbitRun, and we're going to find out what he's all about. Pat, how's it going? Welcome. How are you?
Hey, Julian, I'm great. How are you? It's so good to be here. I've been looking forward to this.
I'm excited, man. I want to tell you a story. I know you're doing something amazing in SD-WAN, which is cool, but you're like, who is Pat and why did you get to where you are? So give me a bit of the background first. How did you get into this game first? And then we'll talk a bit about, the product a little bit later.
I don't know if I'm as interesting as the product.
Well, hey, could be as interesting, but it takes interesting people to make interesting stuff. So first of
I
all,
got you.
tell us a bit about how you got here. What's a bit of your background?
Yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time, and this meaning innovating, creating new solutions and things like that in this market space. In fact, prior to starting RabbitRun about 6 years ago, I had another startup. Okay, and this one was more on the enterprise level. However, that was a 14-year, endeavor. But I'll tell you, I like telling this part of the story. I mean, I loved it. I enjoyed it. And, I did exit that to start RabbitRun. But what I did gain was the luxury and the privilege to invent, perfect, and receive about 22 patents in the software-defined networking space. However, all enterprise.
Hmm.
And that's the whole thing. Like, for me, at that point, I saw a an underserved market being small business and micro business environments. But here I am in the enterprise software defined networking and SD-WAN space, right? Um, I just felt that they needed it more than their larger enterprise counterparts, they being the small businesses. So we set off on the journey. RabbitRun was born.
There you go. Look, the interesting thing is like you can make stuff for the people who've got a lot of money, right? Because they'll pay whatever it takes, because they got the money, right? But trying to do it for the SMB community, right, is a bit tricky because a they need the robustness of the enterprise stuff, right? You can't just give them like the toys, right? It's got to be robust stuff, but they also want to make it affordable. So quality, sophistication, affordability. Sometimes, Pat, those things don't come together in the same box, right? So how the hell did you put it all in the box?
In fact, Adrian, you know something? It's actually harder.
Yeah.
This was a tougher journey. Okay. Here's how we did it. We literally put our heads down and coded for 2 years, right? Just trying to make it because it's very easy to say, I'm going to make a product for the small business market and address SD-WAN for them at prices they can afford. When you try, you can, the challenges show up. And when you're dealing with the small business markets, you're taking on customers on mass versus being able to take less customers, higher price points, even if it were lesser margin, things like that. Um, you don't have that luxury in the small, medium business space or micro business space at all. And so the product's reliability has to be even better. Otherwise, you spend your life not innovating, but supporting, right?
Yeah.
So so that's kind of my story, and how I saw an opportunity in the market for an underserved market. And where I saw opportunity, I truly believe that MSPs, UCAS providers and the like, this is something for them. Because that market, there's one thing I really like about this market. There's a whole new batch every year. You see,
Mm.
we're all entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Our SMBs, and the MSPs.
So the name Rabbit Run, how did you come up with that? You pulled the rabbit out of the hat? Like what happened there?
Well, I didn't know what to call it. Every single name I came up with just didn't sit right. I'm a technology guy. For me to name something, it's gonna, it'll probably phase out after a while. Anyway, I called it Rabbit Run because I live on Rabbit Lane.
Well, there you go. Well, as good enough as ever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, the folks at Apple, called it Apple because it was eating an apple, and they had to come up with a name.
You never know, but
So it is what
it's
it
the
is.
form that it took on after, right? The little rabbit logo, and then just how the rabbit. Everybody says, "Hey, I want to, Pat, can I order another rabbit for this site?"
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
I love it.
run, rabbit, run, man. And then look, the Matrix, right, is full of the follow the rabbit, right? Good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's right.
So let's double click on this. So you create an SD-WAN product, right, for the SMB community, and I agree. I mean, building something for the mass market in the SMB space is more complicated. It's got to be rock solid. You can't just be selling something and have a whole team of people supporting it all day long. So you spend 2 years programming, right? You built it. Tell me about the product itself. What makes this thing that you built that unique?
So under the hood, we had to find a way to make smaller targets do bigger things. In other words, you can't afford a $3,000 appliance in order to do this at a small business. And so some innovation had to take place in order for us to do that. So what we did is we created something called a metadata traffic control. And in essence, what we've done is we've abstracted the data plane path selection process. Do I go on the underlay link 1 ISP1 or underlay link 2 ISP2 or overlay link 3, so on and so forth? Which one do I choose? Which data plane path do I select? And we've abstracted that decision process away from the routing and tunneling protocol layers. Immediately, this gave us speed and efficiency, which allowed us to run on the smaller targets. So basically, we're making routing decisions not from the routing table.
Interesting. So you had to reinvent the way the thing works
For us, yes, yes.
to make it efficient and affordable. So I mean, on top of that, and we're going to be doing a lot more discussions on the solution as we move forward, right? But one of the cool things that I really love about it is that you not only did you make the thing, right, but you also made it so it's like a SaaS solution, right? So that you just pay a monthly fee and there is no big upfront cost. There's no crazy numbers. So you really seriously made it affordable. So tell me about how this goes to market. How do you sell it to someone in terms of the monthly SaaS type fees?
Sure thing. One of the big, requirements, let's call it, to fit into this market space was the whole issue about price. And how is it going to be consumed? There's no upfront capital budgets, very little to none for these small and micro businesses. Yet they need high-end service, reliable service. So what we did is we took that and we packaged it up with our technology. We added monitoring, management, analytics, and all of that kind of stuff to help MSPs support their customers when they run this product. And we turned it into exactly that. It's an SD-WAN as a service.
Mm-hmm.
When an MSP signs up with RabbitRun, they go into our order portal. We will charge them first month, last month, and shipping. And the next bill arrives for month 3, which is pro rata from the install date. And that's it. So there's no upfront fees for equipment, and the monthly license fees are low. They fit the budget of these.
I saw it, and I don't know how you do it, man, but it's absolutely affordable. That's the first big thing. Now let's talk a bit about like a user case. Like at the end of the day, right? Failovers and all these other things is critical, right? You're a small business. You're selling, I don't know, coffee or something. I don't know, whatever you're selling. But then, the internet goes down, your POS system goes down, your access goes down. Like you're losing money, like right now, because, maybe, a few years ago, people still were walking around with some cash. But these days, it seems like we're moving or accelerating in a cashless society, right? So tell me a bit about how, let's take that coffee maker or coffee cafe as an example. How does it work there?
So one of our main attributes is the ability to take a small business, whether it's a restaurant, a small office, even a home office in many cases, depending on the type of business, like a satellite office, etc., and failed over from their existing broadband service onto our multi-cellular 4G LTE, where we connect automatically with T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T, and we switch dynamically between them. We do this without dropping live voice calls, video meetings, and your transactions. They just continue. So our big deal with our partners, our MSPs, is we keep your business online. In fact, the sales pitch for our MSPs in many cases is exactly that, Julian. How much business is lost when your internet goes down? Now, depending on your business, it's going to be a different answer. But there is one thing in common. You're going to lose money in
Mm.
some way, shape, or form. So our job is to keep the money flowing, to keep the packets flowing, keep that business online so that they can transact no matter what. And that's what we do.
It's something like business continuity. We talk about ransomware attacks. We talk about cyber attacks. There's many things, right? Floods, internet going down. There's so many different things, right, that could cause disruption to business. And so personally, I think that one of the challenges of all MSPs is to ensure that they keep the businesses that their customers, right, up and running 24/7, right? So that includes your telephone, that includes your POS systems, your transaction systems. It also includes your access to the internet, because these days, lots of applications are running on the cloud somewhere, right? And so, uptime becomes critical. So wrapping this up in a bow here, Pat, what you do is deliver that business continuity like 24/7, right?
That's correct. In fact, if we look at that whole realm of digital transformation, right?
Mhm.
Not everybody has the luxury of these strategies. In fact, I believe it's more about digital necessities in the small business world. And so their voice is converged, their point of sale is converged. All of this stuff runs over IP. They live in a site to cloud world, meaning all of their apps, they're in the cloud in most cases. And so when that internet goes down, it is a heavy impact. And it amazes me that sometimes that's the last thing people look at. In fact, they look at it after the fact, after the outage, after, because it's going to happen again. With RabbitRun, you solve that right away. And, even our partners. I mean, I've had partners where once they start selling RabbitRun, they actually take less support calls
Mm.
because RabbitRun's doing the job. They don't have to spend as much time on that.
Yeah, I just want to double click on one more thing. I think from an MSP perspective, too, why I personally think it's a really cool thing is that, as an MSP, right? I mean, you want to deliver, the most you can for the least, money as you possibly can, because as you know, your customer just can't afford it. But also at the same time, you want your customer's budget to be allocated properly. So you want to have them with a little bit of money left over for cybersecurity, for other things that is also important, right? So if you're spending a ton of money, doing one thing, and there's nothing else left over to do the other things that's important, then, that's also going to take a hit in the business. So as an MSP, you're giving them an affordable solution to kind of keep them online 24/7. And I'm not even sure there'd be an end customer that would say no. I don't want to be online 24/7. I don't need to be online all the time. So I think it's a very important, aspect. Do you see, this constant digital transformation of everybody requires us to be connected 24/7, right?
Yeah, it does because I mean today's businesses are so dynamic. The times have shifted. It's not a 9 to 5 anymore. They do international business as well. Even the largest company is made up of many, many, many small sites, and
Yeah.
to us that fits our profile.
I'm going to wrap this up by one more thing that I know that you're working on, and a bit of a teaser because it's sort of available now, but it's coming down the pipeline. You're also going to add another layer of protection for
Yes.
cybersecurity, because you discovered something along the journey, and without getting into it too much. We're going to talk about it at another time, but you've actually found a way to help these organizations detect anomalies with their traffic into their SD-WAN.
Yes, yes. It is a sneak peek. So I mentioned that whole, when I lifted the hood a little bit, I talked about we're a metadata traffic controller. We have to scrutinize, and we do scrutinize that metadata constantly to make our decisions, right? And we discovered that hidden in that metadata are remnants of attacks. They leave these signatures behind. Now, understanding that this is metadata, this isn't the full packet or whatever, so we're not intruding on anybody's private data, but we are looking at the metadata, which we scrutinize on a regular basis. So we found a way to detect, prevent, like we'll quarantine a group of, bad actors and things like that. We work near the assets that we're protecting. So we're at the branch, it's happening at the branch. You don't have to consult the cloud in order to do it and things like that. And so we're going to be launching Attack Shield, that's what it's called. It's an add-on to our existing services. Understand that our add-ons, again, they're affordable. They're for these small businesses, these micro businesses. So I'm not talking $100 a month here at all. In fact, $100 a month, you can buy a couple of RabbitRun services, right? I mean, we're so efficient at it.
We're going to have them check the prices out, because I know it's affordable. In some ways, I want to say it's extremely affordable, right? But you've done this, and the point here is this, right? You are finding ways to build out, right, on your technology that you're discovering as you move along, right? Wrapping this up here, the message here. What's the message you want MSPs to know about why your SD-WAN thing is the thing they should be selling to their SMB clients?
RabbitRun is your partner. Okay, with RabbitRun, we can fill that gap together in the small business and micro business markets. In these markets, it is a growing market, not a shrinking market. There's more every year. There's great margin for you as an MSP. We do have great prices, but we've also made room for our partners to also gain great margin. Without our partners who add their value add to the other services, we can't be part of that solution. So we give back in that way. And your customers, they will receive a finely tuned, always on, high uptime system with RabbitRun.
And to add to this, I just want to say that I do know your support is like top of the line, right? And that you've done it in a way that removes a lot of the work, all the heavy lifting away from the partner, because you want to make this transition, this deployment of the solution as seamless as possible. And so you've done your homework, my friend Pat, and I really do believe MSPs out there, if you look at your SMB clients and you're looking for an SD-WAN solution with lots of great failovers and all the usual things that businesses need today, right? I think you're going to find it in the RabbitRun products. More to come. We're going to dig in a little bit more, and as we learn more, we're going to bring it to you. So, and by the way, Pat, what's the best way for them to learn more and to get involved with you?
Visit us at www.rabbit.run.
There you go, rabbit.run. Run. Take it easy. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.